Today is July 16th, 2018, and you're listening to Life in General podcast with Ron Tang. What's going on, guys? Welcome back. Before I get into this podcast, thank you guys for some of the feedback. So there's been a few questions I've gotten. I'm just going to get to them quickly before I get into this, because there seems to be a lot of interest on the keto diet that I've talked about on the last one. Some of the questions have been posted on my Facebook, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to answer them quickly and then move on to the podcast, okay? How do you know you're in ketosis? A lot of times you don't. There are usually no telltale signs of fat burning. Well, there is, but there's a mix of different things, and sometimes it's really hard to tell, okay? You will notice bad breath, things like appetite loss, short-term fatigue, and increased focus and energy. Things like elevated ketones in the blood. I didn't buy the urine strips for that, but it's inexpensive. If you want to get those to know when you're in ketosis, they do sell them on Amazon for $15? But honestly, I don't even worry about that too much. For me, I use a mirror as a guide, and I don't even like to weigh myself, all right? If I see that my lower abs are starting to show, I keep at it. Your obliques. Usually for me, I start losing in the face also, and you will have a general idea of when you're sweating more and in a calorie deficit, obviously. A lot of people that are dieting unsuccessfully on the keto diet, mainly because they forget that you actually need to consume fats, okay? Lots of it. It's your main source of fuel, and it's your best friend, all right? People make the mistake of eating too much protein, and as a result, it gets broken down in your body like protein and excess, and it gets stored. So even if you slightly go over your carb intake, whatever your body allows based on your mass and metabolism, whether it's 20 grams, 30 grams, or 50 grams of carbs, but usual keto dieters stay under 20 grams. Now, that's really challenging because a lot of things that are keto friendly, you don't know. There's different types of beef, sausages, for example. Some have 1 gram of sugar, 3 grams of carb, but some will have none of either. So you gotta really look at the packaging for each thing that you buy, or some of them you will need to look online to find the nutritional value. You will be kicked out of ketosis if you go slightly over, but you will get back in a lot sooner, depending on what you're doing, or if you're fasting. If you're training, of course, you'll be back in ketosis a lot sooner. But generally, if you have a carb up day, it will take about a day or more to get back into it. Typically, the next day, give it 24 hours. But if you are following the guidelines of a ketogenic diet and you stay consistent, then you should be in some form of ketosis all the time, okay? I would like to mention that this is breakthrough research. The Magic Pill on Netflix is a keto documentary, all right? Butter and MCT oil in your coffee is also scientifically proven by a biohacker. Your productivity, energy, and output is increased in the hundreds percentage-wise. I do know realtors and other people who work in the corporate world who uses this as part of their morning routine, and believe me, their workouts and workday is full productivity, maximized at its full potential, and pretty soon your jawline will look like Jesus hand carved it himself and handed it to you. All right, now let's get into the podcast. I would like to congratulate France for winning the World Cup. So congratulations to France and the French peoples, the French fans, the fake French fans, the fake French, the Montreal French, Tabarnak, colonized by the French, and I think that's about all of it. Oh, and by the way, there's not going to be any more sport bits on this channel. I don't do other sports. Toronto teams especially are hard to watch, in my opinion. The World Cup is just a different beast for my family altogether. It always has been. My grandfather, I remember back in the day, he would actually walk to the city and would listen to the radio for the play-by-plays before he had a TV. And it definitely passed on generations our love for the World Cup. So calm down, Greg. It's just soccer. But yeah, It's finally over. All the rowdy fans can go home. People can stop jumping on cars and stop littering everywhere. So I saw this Instagram account recently that featured the hottest female fans from all the teams. And this was asked to be taken down because people got offended, okay? I was thinking, like, who's complaining about this shit? This post attracted criticism from social media users for being outdated. The post was, I remember it was removed. Hold on, I'm just gonna look up this article quickly. And we're back. Okay, so they took it down because people were saying that they were outdated, and the post was later removed because they said it was, on their part, quote unquote, regrettable error in judgment, and that the photographic agency would be launching an internal investigation. You know what, though? This shit was inevitable. I knew it. Feminism was going to make its way into football. I knew this was going to happen. There's been a surplus of BBC articles talking about misogyny that happens in soccer, which is true. We'll get to that. But this one was specifically complaining about the amount of times that the camera panned over to the female fans on the teams. And underneath the article, it says, "The times are changing. Why haven't you?" Because some things should remain traditional. What are we, harassing them through the tube? It's eye candy for everyone. Even other women appreciates another woman's aesthetics. Can we have anything anymore? Like, for a few seconds, when we're not on the players, the camera shows us some of the diehard female fans. Whether they are disappointed or happy, like, you know, for a few seconds, you're just thinking, like, they look beautiful. Life is good. Thank you for that visual. Can we have anything? Like, who's complaining about this shit anyway? Feminist, yes. But what, third wave dykes who can't stand men looking at other women because they don't get looked at that way? It's always those on the sidelines. Why do men act like such pigs? I can already see her dating profile. It goes something like cisgendered, pansexual on Sundays, level 99 pescatarian, but I don't eat tilapia because of the toxins. Meanwhile, she smokes. Radical leftists living that nonprofit life. And maybe like a tint of green in her hair. Those giant earlobes that look like calamari when she's got nothing in there. But yeah, you know what? I do side with some of them in these articles. I do get that the majority in the public during these games are drunken idiots harassing women on the streets. The law needs to be enforced, okay? There's a bunch of frustrated dudes that think they can get a pass because they're intoxicated and they do some dumb shit. No. Stop groping women. Stop touching the news anchors, all right? If you've tried to kiss the news anchor on national television, first of all, that should be an automatic ass whoop, okay? You should be detained. Yeah, you're not going to the game, bud. You're out of control. Yeah, there's been a surplus of all that shit going on. And sometimes, you know, when it's live, you're going to catch some of these idiots. Yeah, I can't wait till, like, one guy touches the wrong news anchor. When I say wrong, I don't mean calling them out anymore or making it go viral or apologize. Like, just a good-looking news anchor that does MMA, and then a bunch of losers just walking by laughing, then stops and gropes her. And she just turns around, like, punches him right across the head, and the guy's completely KO'd on the floor. His friends don't even know what happened. They're just, like, trying to wake him up. She just turns around and continues on with the news. Oh, man. If that ever does happen, like, just don't even cut. Like, just keep the cameras live on air. I am aware that there are advertisements out there that encourage this kind of behavior. The Burger King ad in Russia that stated that I don't know if you guys have seen this, but it stated that if you were impregnated by a footballer during the World Cup, you get Whoppers for free for the rest of your life. I was like, what the fuck are they thinking? Yeah, that was a wrong move. What is that encouraging? And stop the ridiculous advertisements. Stop groping random women on the streets. Stop grabbing the news anchors. But yeah, I mean, just leave the hot chicks on display. All right, that's all. Just leave the hot woman on display during the game. There's a happy medium. But that's what we need. Okay, that's what we need with PC culture, with all this political correctness. I feel is a happy medium. I find that the walls are closing in what's allowed to be funny, what's allowed to be said. I'm telling you, pretty soon we're going to be on 55 John Street lining up just to set a trial date because you got a ticket for offending someone. Did you or did you not use said person's preferred gendered pronoun? I did not, Your Honor. Was the nature of your response by mistake or refusal to use that preferred gender pronoun? I don't know. Fuck off. I feel like we need to do another debate on the political correctness, because the one they had at the Roy Thompson Hall 2 months ago was a bit of a disaster. To me, some of the good points were made, but I feel like Dr. Peterson wasn't at his full potential. He looked kind of ridiculed. His arguments weren't strong and the rebuttals weren't on point. I remember at the end of it, Stephen Fry says, "I'm still waiting on the debate on the political correctness to begin." Michael Dyson, fuck, that guy. He kept calling him a mean old white man. Yes, actually, he did during a debate. Like, he's one of those people whose whole argument was just like race baiting you with his like sarcastic, smart aleck, his quoting Beyonce and Drake. And then I remember at one point he asked Dr. Peterson if he's ever been inside an all-black church. What are they called? Evangelical? He asked him if he's been inside an evangelical church. And he says, "I'm gonna hook you up, brother. I'm gonna hook you up." I'm eventually going to break down the whole debate for you guys. I mean, half the arguments put up against Dr. Peterson in general, it's like, do you even know what his lectures are about? Or do you guys know him, or just based off tabloids and other articles? I feel like that's how he gets attacked continuously, like time after time, article after article, just trying to just take everything he says out of context and just completely misinterpret him. He should have just fucked off to like Cancun for 2 weeks before that whole debate. Just interview after interview, attack after attack, asking him the same bullshit. Like, are you or are you not willing to use alternate pronouns? This guy's fighting off snowflakes every day. Like, I swear to God, he is one of the most patient beings I have ever seen. Just watching him on campus with a bunch of obnoxious students. Like, a lot of you have seen that video. I mean, people that pay attention to what's going on anyway in the academic world, and his book, 12 Rules for Life. I was thinking, in what world do you get to just run up on your prof on campus, stick a camera in his face, and start yelling? I'm born in 88, which makes me 30 this year, and even my parents tell me that, yeah, teachers, like back then, they get to hit their students. We need to get back to that, all right? Temporarily, all right? Just for this bunch, until the next generation is corrected. Yeah, your students run up on you, smack them on the pavement, okay? I don't care what gender you claim, what you identify with, you show some fucking respect, kid, all right? Shut the fuck up and get where you're going, all right? As a matter of fact, don't even approach me when you see me on campus unless I give you permission to talk, all right? We're not on the same level. Don't talk to me outside the classroom. I got 30 years on you. My words have weight on it. I think they're going to be fine. They're going to be upstanding citizens and not whiny little bitches, right? I've gotten hit before, and at no point did I not think about what happened or what I did. All right. Sometimes it makes sense. Sometimes it doesn't. Yeah. Even looking at the rappers they listen to now, I'm just like, why do your parents even feed you? Shit, man. I'm really going off today, but yeah, poor guy. They're trying to get him to do so many interviews and debates, and I feel like they're just trying to make him slip and just to portray him into this character that he isn't. This caricature of what they think he is and what they presume. Like, it's ridiculous. What do they call that? Straw manning. The straw man argument. Jesus Christ. What these people do to him, and it seems like they're just a bunch of Kathy Griffins, but they do it in other ways. What's an example? Say, in his book, so biology teaches us that male and females are born with 2 sets of different DNA or something. And then the headline would say, Jordan Peterson claims that the patriarchy is strong and displays phallic symbols to his students. So you're saying that, you know what they do? This is how they do it. If you were ever in the media, they will find the most ridiculous photo of you or freeze frame in a video and take that image of you either smirking, laughing like an idiot, laughing hysterically with a stupid look, and that's the photo they're going to use depending on how they want to slander you. But if it's an article that promotes you, believe me, they will find a photo of you looking like a god or Photoshop it until you do. That's how it's usually done if you pay attention to articles, tabloids of celebrities. You know what's interesting to see in celebrity culture is when 2 people you look up to or admire, that when they don't get along or they start disagreeing heavily with each other, it's sort of like 2 people you know. As I'm sure you guys have witnessed it yourselves. You ever known 2 people that if they've met each other, like they get along for sure, like 2 of the most nicest or pleasant, funny, known to be good to work with, but somehow like you found out in your network that they've clashed within the workplace or just within your own network. And you're thinking, no, this was a byproduct of bad timing and circumstance, because there's no way, right? And it sucks, especially in celebrity culture. Well, not celebrity culture per se, but people you follow, whether they're political activists, comedians, academics. Because I saw this one article on Noam Chomsky. As you guys know, the political activist and analytical philosopher, he called out Dr. Peterson for something. And I remember, like, I got angry. I skipped right past the article, and I thought, okay, maybe Dr. Peterson right now, he's too popular, he's talked about, and Noam Chomsky must be attacking him just to stay relevant. Because there's no way, right? These 2 thinkers, I thought if anything, they'd be a great team. They're both reasonable men, right? But that wasn't the case, and it seemed to me like jealousy and slander. I don't know. It's probably fucking Vice who wrote the article. Oh, they did do that with Jim Jeffries and Jordan Peterson. They made it seem like Jim called him out for doing something that he didn't, on being something that he's not, and it made him look stupid. But if you actually clicked into the article, it was something that they agreed on. So it was kind of clickbait. Ugh, fucking hippie journalism. By the way, just so you guys know, I don't agree with 100% of what Dr. Peterson says. Like, there are a few things in 12 Rules that I read, and I was like, all right, makes sense, but I also have a different belief on that because of how I live. So, like everything else, this isn't a one-size-fits-all. But yeah, other than that, his lectures and his intent is doing more good and has helped more people than he has done harm. So I don't think he started out with the intention of what some of these people are accusing him for. But yeah, if you're paying any attention to any negative articles that pertains to him, you'll notice that the writer have some sort of beef with just either white men or just men in general. Watch. What I notice is that he's actually never stated religious beliefs also. He uses a lot of Christian teachings and philosophies that pertains to life, and there are many lessons to be learned within the Bible that teaches the right path to their own version of enlightenment, of happy, fulfilling life, but ultimately he's never stated his actual beliefs. But with all that being said, it will be interesting to see who Jordan Peterson is and who he will become after his rise to fame, and if his agenda is going to change. And yeah, that's all the time we have. Thanks for listening again. This is episode 3 of Life in General. I went off a little bit on this one, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. And that's all, folks. That's the podcast. Ciao.